If you're not gonna try with a monster horror movie, I'm not gonna try with a monster horror movie review. So here we go. This movie was, I mean, it's disposable while you're watching it. It's like enjoyable enough. I wasn't bored while watching it, but the things that are happening on screen aren't exactly what you want to see when you're watching a monster horror movie. The writing's bad, so it's fun to make fun of for sure. Uh, when you're thinking of a monster horror movie like the games, you want it to be like Monster Horror because that's the point, you know. And when you think of Monster Horror, you think like a fantasy setting, you know, like in the title, it's actually hunting down monsters, you know. But you don't really see any hunting of monsters in the film. You see a lot of desert, which is weird because the games take place in the jungle, which you only see for about all of 5 minutes in the movie, just so that we can get Ron Perlman on board, basically. Uh, and it feels like a waste of both Tony Jaa and Ron Perlman, who are both great actors who have a lot of talents that are all wasted and not really used. There's tons of abhorrent product placement, some of which leads to character growth and hilarious moments. Uh I honestly couldn't believe what I was seeing during a couple of sequences like that. Uh like getting a character arc over a Hershey bar is kind of amazing. That's something I've never seen before. There was a couple of cool moments. Like, there's this very H.R. Geiger scene where a character bursts out of like a cocoon. And there's like all these kind of cool designs and stuff. And it's very much just like an alien movie at that point. But again, this is supposed to be monster horror, and it doesn't really feel like it turns into a monster horror movie until like, and a lot of movies based on video games have a terrible tendency of doing this, where it needs to transform all of the characters into characters from the game, but it doesn't get to that point until the very end of the movie, and by that point, the movie's finished. And this one has a terrible tendency of doing that, where it needs to train both its world, its characters, literally everything into becoming what it is. But then it wants you to see the sequel because it spent the whole first movie changing the world into the world that you wanted to see from the games in the first place. But you didn't want to see that first movie, you wanted to see the second one. But they don't want you to see the second movie, they want you to see the first one. And the movie probably isn't getting a second movie in the first place, even though it wants to do a second movie, so they sequel bait at the end, of course. Yeah. It's so weird too having most of the movie be in that desert. It's such a boring setting. And there's only like the one monster too in that entire section of the movie, which is the bulk of the film. And they mostly just run away from it and shoot at it, which shooting does nothing, so I don't get why they insist on it. Also, the main character gets in like a truck or like a tank, and like she falls in that thing like 20 times over the course of the film. Like the same exact moment of peril happens nonstop through the film, where she keeps falling over and crashing and crashing and crashing in the movie. It's kind of amazing how many times she manages to tip that thing over. It's kind of hilarious. Also, the very abrupt character deaths were hilarious. It's interesting getting the mission from the trailer of the "what are we, some kind of Guardians of the Galaxy" line from the movie, because again, bad writing. But that was one of the lines that made me laugh during the trailer because it was so bad, and it was a combination of all these superhero things that were like, no, no, thank you, please go away, stop. Ah, 4 out of 10.